What is up, y'all? It's your boy, Big P, coming at you live. Excuse the hair. I was supposed to get a haircut today, but I had to cancel my appointment, so hair's getting a little long again, but it looks alright. Looks alright. Today, we're going to be covering a couple of things, namely art, a little bit of music, and I'm going to share with you guys one of my favorite hobbies, which is reptiles. And I'm going to show you one of my snakes. I have a few, and over the time, I'll share more of my reptiles and animals with you. Should be fun. It's gonna be a good time. But yeah. So I have reached out to a couple of people about local music around the Farmington area, and I haven't gotten too many responses, which it's kind of sad, but it's okay. We'll find something. So we are going to save that for later. We're going to cover an artist that recently passed away, King Von. He was one of my favorites out of Chicago. We'll talk about him later, and he will be the artist that I spotlight today. So let's get into it. Now, as a kid, one of my favorite things to do, aside from video games and playing outside like everyone else, was comic books. A lot of my friends didn't know that I had an obsession with comic books. I don't even think my family knew. But I used to, whenever we go places and they had a book section or a comic section, I was always in it looking around. And I always found them fascinating. Which, all the stories, all the characters, it's all good. But one of my favorites was Black Panther. I love Black Panther. I love Spawn. And earlier this year, in honor of Chadwick Boseman, one of my favorite comic book writers and designers and drawers, Todd McFarlane, made this for the Spawn 311. It's in memory of Chadwick Boseman, and it's Chadwick dressed as Spawn, Black Panther, and I was really excited about this. So excited, in fact, that I pre-ordered it, but with the pandemic going on, I didn't get it until yesterday, and I ordered it in October. But that's fine. The artwork in both Black Panther and Spawn really always kind of, as a kid, really caught my attention because I like, Spawn's real gritty and dark. Black Panther's, it's got lighter feels, but it's still got darkness to it, you know what I'm saying? Especially when he's fighting certain people like Killmonger. But I've always liked the grittiness of some of Marvel's comics, DC, they do the dark stuff and all that good stuff, but I've never been a fan of DC Comics. I love some of the characters from DC, but it's never been, my cup of tea. Like, seriously, the Joker. That's literally the only DC character I've really ever cared about, and that's just because he's a psycho. But Spawn brought a grittiness that, when I was a kid, a lot of kids were freaked out by stuff like Spawn. Because it was dark and it was scary and there's demonic clowns and shit like that. Excuse the language. Did not mean to cuss. But, yeah, and I just thought this cover was special, Todd McFarlane's honoring Chadwick Boseman, who, as you all know, played Black Panther in the movies. And he will be missed. He really will be. He made some great movies, and yeah, but I just thought this cover was really cool. From a collector standpoint, I don't know if it'll ever really be valuable, but to a fan standpoint, it's valuable. This will be going in a safe place for me to keep for a long time. It'll be very well taken care of. It's special to me because it embodies two of my favorite characters, Black Panther and Spawn. So, yeah. Now, moving on. The next thing I want to share with you guys is my love of reptiles, which is a newfound love in the past couple of years. When I was a kid, I was actually terrified of snakes. Terrified. And I don't know why. I never understood why, but I was always afraid of them. And I figured I had an experience. A friend's pet snake had gotten out and ended up in my vicinity. And when I realized that this snake wasn't a threat, all that went out the window. Been in love with them ever since. Now, the first snake I ever owned, he is a Kenyan sand boa. His name is Jake the Snake, after one of my favorite wrestlers. I decided not to go with him today. You guys will see him later. Today I'm going to go with my ball python Griselda. And I chose a ball python because it's one of the most commonly bought snakes. And it's what a lot of people will say is a good starter snake, which I don't agree with at all, because ball pythons come with a lot of issues. If you don't do your homework, they're a problem. They're very picky. They can be very picky eaters, and they can go 6 months without eating. Straight up. And people get freaked out by this. And then they spend money on vets and all this other stuff. And yeah, no. I wouldn't consider a ball python beginner. Intermediate, yes. If you've really done the research and you understand them, yes, they're perfect for an intermediate reptile owner. My suggestion for a first snake for anybody would probably be a king or a corn snake, because they're great eaters, they're very hardy, they're very tough, they can live, I'm not saying put them in bad conditions, but they can live through almost any conditions you put them in. Really great snakes. I also, as I mentioned, Jake the Snake is a Kenyan sand boa. I wouldn't recommend them for starters either, especially if you're afraid of, striking. Because sand boas can be nippy. Not all of them, but a lot of them are very nippy animals. And Jake the Snake happens to be a very nippy sand boa. Now, his head's that big. He's tiny. So it doesn't hurt, but to someone who's not used to dealing with them, it can be scary. So my recommendation for anybody looking to get into snakes, start with a king snake, a corn snake. They both get decent sizes, so you'll have the size, the length, you know what I'm saying? They're pretty docile and they're hardy and they're good eaters. Right now is starting ball python breeding season. So my male, Caw, and he's about 4 foot now. I got him from a woman at the recommendation of a friend. And yeah, I've had him for about 6 months now. Great snake, very food motivated though. He's very which means if you're not careful and you don't let him know that you're not food, which I've trained him to know when it's feeding time and when it's not with my tongs, I'll touch his side with the metal tongs and he knows, okay, it's not feeding time. It's cleaning time or I get to come out. So he goes into chill mode. But he's very food motivated. As soon as I go for the top of his cage, he comes to the top looking for food. So you gotta be wary of him. He's not striking to hurt or maim me in any way. He just thinks it's feeding time anytime you open up the cage. He's just a food motivated snake. So I'm not gonna bring him out today either. Like I said, I've got Griselda. She's almost 2. She's a year old. I've had her almost a year now. So yeah, she's almost 2. I've had her almost a year. Great snake, fun snake, friendly snake. Never bitten at me. Never nervous. Very chill. So I'm going to bring her out here in a little bit. But another thing I want to touch on is venomous snakes. Now, I am new to that side of the hobby. I've worked under my mentor, Aaron, for about a year working with her venomous snakes and learning how to work with them. And I finally have my own. He's a rattlesnake. His name is Pain. And if y'all watch Naruto, y'all know all about Pain. Yes, I love my anime too. But that's for another time. And him, I'll never display outside of his tank for obvious reasons. He's a Western Diamondback rattlesnake. And yeah, so you'll never see him laying on the bed or in my hands because I'm not dumb. Some people are comfortable with free handling rattlesnakes. I've seen them do it. It's not for me. Okay. It's not for your boy. Okay? Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking anybody who does it, because no matter what, when you have venomous reptiles in your house, there's always a risk. Even me picking Pain up with a hook, there's a risk behind this. I'm not brave. I'm not crazy. It's just something I like to do. I like the idea of having a venomous snake. So I worked, did my homework, and now I have one. But there's still risks with that. Don't ever think, no amount of training in the world can prepare you for dealing with these animals. They're unpredictable, and they're doing what they do. They're protecting themselves and keeping themselves out of harm's way. We, in turn, are putting ourselves in harm's way dealing with these venomous reptiles. So, never get comfortable. I don't care who you are, never get comfortable. Always be on your toes when dealing with venomous reptiles. Always be alert. That is the number one thing. Always be alert. And like every other animal, every individual is different. Okay? Like I said, I've seen people let their rattlesnakes, venomous snakes, crawl all over them with no problems. The snake's not aggressive, it's not biting. It's just a chill snake. I've seen people that the only time they want to take their snake out, their venomous snakes out, is when it's time to clean poop. Okay? And they don't do it with their hands, they do it with hooks, tongs, grabbers, and then they secure the snake in a locked box, bucket, whatever they put the snake in. Because the snake's just crazy. That's how it goes. Every snake is different, every animal is different, every person is different. That's what comes with this. So, again, when it comes to venomous reptiles, unless I have someone who's better trained than me and can handle it, you'll never see a loose venomous reptile on this channel. Now, when I do some interviews and I invite a couple of my friends who handle these snakes on the regular and are comfortable doing it, yeah, you'll see them out and about. You'll see how they react and how they move. When you're dealing with just me, it'll be tank shots. That's it. That is all. I'm not trying to put myself at risk. I'm not trying to put the animal at risk. Safety is my main concern. Because, as we all know, I love myself. But without further ado, excuse me, I am going to take Griselda out and let you guys see her. Before I do that, come here, Kel. This right here, come here. This is Kel. She shouldn't be in here right now, but she came in anyway. Alright. Come on. I will be right back, guys. Come on, Kel. You gotta go outside the room for a minute. Good girl. Sorry about that. Kale likes to bark at the snakes. So, where were we? Ah, yes. And there she is. This is Griselda. She is a BHB chocolate ball python. She's a little weird, but she's cool. Sit her down very gently. she's pretty chill. But yeah. She's chill. She likes to roam the bed. So, that's what she's doing. She's just roaming the bed, living her best life, which is fine. Very good snake. Very calm. Very chill. But yeah, that's Griselda, and she's a BHB line chocolate ball python. And chocolate is basically just a step up from normal. You know, nothing crazy. She just has more blushing. I only take her out for a minute. She's it's daytime, so they're usually asleep, so she's still kind of But yeah, so that was Griselda, and when I do a snake or a reptile actual video, there'll be a lot more time. They'll be out more, and I'll have more than one out and all that good stuff. But I just want to, give you guys a little preview of what I like. One of the other things I like in life. Now, to the music spot. Like I said, I have reached out to a few people, and I'm trying to get more information on local artists. So I'm still working on that part, but today's spotlight will be on King Von. R.I.P. As many of you know, he was killed in Atlanta a couple weeks ago. Sad. I really liked his music, and he was a real one. He was bringing his friends with him. It's just a sad situation. That one really kind of got to me, because we always tell each other to stay safe, and it's just, that situation was bad. So, R.I.P. to King Von. Look him up. That's who's in the spotlight for music this week. I'm not going to go too in depth. Most of y'all know who he is, and if you don't, look him up. His music's not for everybody, it's for me. So yeah, check him out though. And that pretty much concludes the video, and I'm pretty much done for today. Next week, I will have my first guest or person on. My friend Chandler Paxson, owner and operator of Off the Bench Athletics, gymnastics, tumbling, cheerleading, stuff like that. And we're gonna get into that, his business. As I said, I want to have people who own businesses on here as well. So he's a good friend of mine. He owns a business. We'll talk about that. We're gonna talk about bow hunting. He's into stuff with bows and stuff like that. And yeah, we're just gonna have a good time. So I will see you guys next week, next Wednesday, around the same time. I hope y'all enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.